Hey, good evening, everybody. It's about 7:15 or a few minutes after. It's Friday night. What is today, guys? November what?
17th.
November 17th, 2023. We are here for our live talk forum, coming to you live from the Institute. Well, actually, it's not for the live talk forum. It's the 12th House Recovery. It's for tonight as our show is the 12th House Recovery, where we deal or address addiction, mental illness, and psychology, and in the formula of all that is God and love, with astrology and every way that we can read energy and work with God or love in the purest form. And that's tonight's show. And welcome to tonight's show. It's 7:15 every Friday night to 8:45, and that's our plan. Of course, there'll be exceptions in there when we got to change the schedule and stuff, but our goal is to always do it once a week, and everybody is invited. It is a free show. We ask that you can donate if you do, or if you can rather, because it will help us keep going. And I want to thank everybody for your donations. We're coming live to you from Virginia Beach, Virginia, and the Institute for Christ Consciousness, a Love Energy Healing and Teaching Center, okay, for people and pets, and the Copper Dragon, a higher vibrational product and gift shop. We are live tonight doing our 12th House Recovery show, and this show is designed to help you heal you to live your greatest life, and a new radical, and it's not that it's new, it's just all the formula of God or love that has been here since the beginning of time. And this is the tools that we use to work with love energy, to change our lives, to heal ourselves from all kinds of toxic unwellnesses, free ourselves from addiction, patterns, psychological illnesses, psychosomatic illnesses, physical illnesses. But this is a process. It's by working with God or love that we have these tools, and we work with love for our greatest lives, and we teach and do this work here on the show. We will teach you everything that you need to know, and this is what the show is about. It is a new way to deal with mental illness, addiction every week. Doesn't mean that it can replace your counselor, your medicines, or your stuff. Remember, if that's what works for you in the moment and the now, follow your heart and work with your doctor and what is best for you from love, okay? And this is not medical advice. This is working with higher knowing God and love to get you. The God's honest truth are the best wisdom, gifts, tools for you, and all of us here in Earth World, by learning how to live our greatest lives, read energy, work with people, energies, solutions for everything that's going on in our lives, as well as how to handle addiction, removing the patterns from our souls that are toxic in us, that most people in Earth World reality have no clue are going on in them because they are not cognizant. So tonight's show, we're going to address your stuff, but I also brought some stuff to the table that is especially moving with addiction, as well as clearing out energies of addiction for all of us. And we're going to do a whole bunch of energy work. Remember, words, thoughts, emotion creates. It is the God formula. It is the love energy formula. It is the Christ formula of ask and you shall receive, because words are energy. Words are energy work. Words are energy magic. They create out here, right? You think, oh, I wish I could do this, and then suddenly you're doing it. That's how it works, okay? And so we work with the system of love to bring everything we want and desire from love into our lives. And we work on our stuff, and we work with God all the time to live our greatest lives. And that's what this show is about. So you're going to learn a huge amount of everything metaphysical, everything earth world, how to balance it, how to work with God, how to work with these energies. Could somebody put on the AC for me?
Yes.
I think I need it to be a little bit cooler because we're baking here 1 minute in Virginia, as they say. If you don't like the weather in Virginia, wait 15 minutes. It'll go from 70 to 50 in like 15 minutes. So, and that's what we have today. Last few days were really chilly. What temperature did you put on?
Cool on 70?
Let's go. Okay. Thank you. So Sophia changed the temperature for me so we can get a little cool in here, because it's crazy hot in here. It's been warm all day. Yesterday it was chillier. Okay. So, this said, great to see you guys all coming on here. Hey, everybody. Thanks for coming. Super, super grateful. And one of the things that I want to address tonight is something that a couple people that are our people for sure, are on my Facebook feed, and I took the stuff right off of there, so I want to make sure that I honor them, but it's really important. And what we're going to do is we're going to read, because it's so difficult, not just for people who have addiction issues, people who have mental illness or unwell things in their energy, in their psyche, fears, OCD, PTSD, schizophrenia, bipolar, anxiety, whatever you got going on, including all kinds of addiction. We address here, as you you know. But it's not just for those people who have these issues, because everybody has them in some way, shape, or form. Some kind of stuff going on that stops us, is toxic to us, is unwell to us. It's the nature of human nature, and it's the nature of what brings us to this reality here in Earth world, right? And this incredible darkness that we have going on, right? To give you an example, like we've always said, so much hate that Donald Trump has, or that people have for rather Donald Trump, I should say, so much hate that the people have for him, and they throw it out, and they throw out hate to anybody. What they really need to take a look at is the hate they have for themselves. And that is what has generated everything that's going on in here. Miserable self-loathe. And that's huge when it comes to addiction, when it comes to mental illness, when it comes to being a human being. We have things in us where we're not worthy, where we don't value us. And this is all parts of all the facet and intricate things that happen when we have, let's say, patterns and energies in us, in our souls, that manifest in our reality, that cause things such as addiction, or to self-medicate, or to act out, or to lose our shit, or to not be able to hold a job, or not be able to do this, or not be able to live our dreams. So this is a show for all of this across the board. We're going to get into it in depth. We're going to answer your questions every week. So bring your questions, bring everybody you know. But this is also about the families. The people who are with these people who also suffer as they go through addiction, as we go through mental illness with them, as we try to find the right ways and the right sources to heal us from love, as we go down this path. And that's the truth. Okay, so this said, again, my name is Lynn Rene MacDonald. Welcome to 12th House Recovery, where we deal with psychology, and we address it: psychology, addiction, and mental illness, and everything God or love to help you live your greatest life, because everything is energy, and this is your best tools and greatest tools on how to do it. You can work with everything that is God and love, and then just take these solutions and these things that we'll teach you here, and we will get you well. The key here is to follow your heart and stick with it. The guy who gives up on themselves is the guy who never moves forward. Okay? Remember that. And the only way that you fail is if you don't do it. If you decide not to do it, or if you quit. Okay? All right, so the first thing I'm going to do tonight is I'm going to clear out all these energies in us. That's a quitter, that thinks we can't do it, that doesn't feel worthy, that doesn't have any value, that is all the things that are toxic that I just said, that don't serve us in us. And release all of those energies, and makes us self-medicate in any way, shape, or form that is toxic and unhealthy for us, and out of alignment with love. Clear all these energies out of us, God, and put the best way to be from love in the purest form, in this reality, any reality, and all that is. Thank you for these gifts in our souls, and in all we are, be, say, do, and create, and all that it is, and the best way for us and all of something better. And thank you, God, for that for us. And when I say God, I'm talking about highest knowing of love, and all that is love in the purest form, the God of everything, and the God that is everything, or the love that is everything. Okay, we're not talking about Lucifer, we're not talking about Satanism, we're not talking about reptilians and all the darkness going on out here. That's not my God. If it's your God, you're welcome to stay and change, by all means. However, first things first, follow your heart, because your heart will guide you to everything that is best for you. All right? Okay, that said, what we're going to do tonight is I want to read you what it's like from one of our people, okay? For our show. All right, I'm going to read you something that I pulled off my Facebook page, and it is courtesy, and I'm not going to use her last name just in case she's not comfortable for this or with this, but I pulled it off my Facebook page, and I did talk to her about it, and I feel like she was okay with me using it. So her name is Anne. Okay, I don't know if she's here tonight, but this is what she wrote, and this has everything to do with addiction and her life, okay? And this is what she wrote, and then this is what she shared from a guy named Ian. Okay, I'm not going to mention his last name, and then we're going to clear all this stuff out of us, because if any of us, and all of us we can have some form of addiction or addictive tendencies, and none of this is something that we want in our lives or to be part of our energies that creates this out here. So you ready? Because here we go. And then I'm going to ask Rachel and Jennifer, okay, who's here. We're going to say hi to everybody, and we're going to do that part of our program shortly, okay? Feel free to remind me, okay? Okay, because I get in the zone here sometimes. Here we go. So this is what Anne wrote. She writes, I grew up with a junkie mother that bragged to my children about being able to slam more dope than any man. Shameful, being proud of that fact, I watched this monster claim too many lives I love. If you've ever contemplated trying heroin, fentanyl, please don't, and read this. You will lose 100%. Your life will never be the same, and it'll be a constant battle for the rest of your life. This story brings back memories I truly despise and wanted to bury ages ago. I've known very few to conquer it completely, to come to mind, and I love them both dearly. To come to mind, and I love them both dearly. Kind and genuine souls that had the faith to overcome a breast like no other. Okay? I was judged by who my parents were, still am by some. To hell with them. God has been my salvation and the reason I made it this far, along with my boys, my grandson Mike, and a few of the best friends anyone could hope for. Maybe this will save one soul from being dragged through hell. I pray that it does for them and the ones that love them. Again, this is Anne's story of her in a brief paragraph talking about how rough it was with a mother who was an addict, and she says, please don't ever do fentanyl and heroin and all of that, and if you can, do, absolutely, you want to stay away from all drugs, right? Okay, because that's the whole purpose of being free of addiction, right, is to heal you and stay away from those particular demons. That's the whole purpose, right? Okay, so with this attachment on Facebook, and we're going to do a whole entire clearing prayer for all of us on all of this energy to heal us. Are you ready? So on top of this, she writes that, and then this is what she shared from a gentleman named Ian. Okay, and this is all in the same post, and this is profoundly moving. You ready, guys? This is a warning, a trigger alert. I remember before I tried heroin, I asked people what it was like. They said it's like a burst of energy, a rush that takes your breath. It's the best feeling ever. I don't know how to explain it, really. It's like a really strong pain pill, but you'll be nodding off. And they were right. But now, if someone were to ever ask me what it's like, this is what I would tell them. It's like spending every single penny you ever had on drugs. It's like going days without eating, even though you were starving, but you needed dope more. It's like having to lie to every family and friend you have ever had. It's like waking up, hating yourself from the shame and guilt. Hold on a minute, we're trying to find the part where we were. It's like never attending any family event because you were too high or too sick. It's like everyone eventually stopped inviting you to events and even talking to you. It's like crying yourself to sleep every single night because your children got taken away. This is rough shit. It's like knowing you have one more chance to get better before your child gets adopted and still choosing that bag. It's like asking others how your own blood child is doing. It's watching everyone around you succeed, and yet you're crumbling. It's like everything was on your drug dealer's time. If they said 5 hours, you'll wait in your car 5 hours. It's like stealing everything worth value for dope, no matter how sentimental it was to you or someone else. It's like losing so much weight you can't fit into any of your clothes. It's like everyone hating you no matter where you went because they knew you were an addict. You'll miss out on your children and they'll be grown before you know it. You'd kill for your child and do anything and everything for them, yet you won't be able to get clean for them. And we actually turn out to be the ones who hurt them the most. It's like overdosing and going to get high right after that. It's like walking into rehab 100 pounds with the clothes on your back and being scared to death. It's like giving your entire life away. Your entire life away. Okay, and here's his last part. to the closing. And he says it's shared from a man named Aaron. I'm not going to give his last name either. So if you're ever curious, like I was, please at least know the truth. Curiosity killed the cat, and it will kill you too, 100%. And I want to share that with everybody because it's so moving, because unless you're walking in those shoes, you don't know what it's like. You have no fucking clue. So, and I want to use this time and this energy from these people that shared it, that is all of this, and I want to clear it out of all of us and anybody who is an addict and who so desires it or has any of these feelings or anything in this in their lives in any way, shape, or form of this incredible darkness, for the families, for the people, for all of us, because this comes in the ancestry. If your father's an alcoholic, you bet your mother would be, or somebody else in your family will be. You could almost bank on that through the ancestral energy of all that is God, that is love, because this is how this journey works. So let us clear all of this out of all of us in the energy that it is. All right, emotional energy and all that this is from the gifts that these people shared with us tonight to help heal us and others. Let us be free of all of this now, please, from love that is this energy emotionally and in all that it is. And in place of this, but the best way to be from love in the purest form, in this reality, any reality and all that is. And thank you, God, for these gifts in our souls and in all we are, be, say, do, and create and all that it is in the best way for us and all or something better. And thank you, God, for that for us. Thank you, love, for that for us. Okay, that said, I felt that was really great for opening today, and even if you aren't an addict, I'm sure many of you can relate to a lot of those feelings with our toxic unwellness and the energies that we are creating and have in our souls that create out here and manifest out here. Okay, this said, I want to say hi to everybody. Thank you all for coming. I want to ask Jennifer and Rachel, who's here tonight, so I can say hi to everybody. Thanks for coming. Thanks for supporting our show. Thanks for your donations. And please bring your questions, bring the things you want to work on and share tonight. I do have somebody who called in beforehand and they gave us a whole bunch of stuff in their story. What is her first name?
Michelle.
Michelle. And if Michelle is here, we're going to definitely go over her stuff, or we're going to wait till the next show, next Friday, or when she is on, because the best thing we can do is so we can so that we can put everything together from love and get her the best solutions and understand completely for her, for all of us as well, how to address this and what to do with these with her story and her solutions. Okay. All right. That said, is she here tonight, Jen?
She is here. She said it's raining in West Virginia and she's having a really hard time with the reception.
All right. Tell her, please, to let us know. She's here. All right. Tell her, please, to let us know if she gets a better reception, and then we'll bring up her question.
Okay.
And if not, then we'll work on it next week.
Okay.
Okay. Or we'll bring it up next week, please. Okay. Thank you so much. All right. So who's here? Ray?
We have Teresa.
Hey, Teresa.
And we have Andrea and Francis.
Hey, guys.
We also have Michelle and
All right.
Nikki Opper.
Okay. Hey, everybody. Thank you so much for coming. Thanks. Glad you could join us, and maybe we'll have a great time and great healing and all good things. So thank you again. All right. So anybody have any questions for tonight that we want to work on or do?
I haven't seen any tonight, but we have some from last week.
Okay. All right. Rachel says we don't have any for tonight yet, but we have a few people from last week, so we're going to start with them, and hopefully let's say a prayer that Michelle can hear us and everybody can hear us, and we have a great connection, and thanks God for that for us. It is storming here, which may be one of the reasons why we, are having trouble with people getting on or people not having a clear reception, so FYI. Not to mention shadow banning and stuff like that. Okay, but we're not going to go there. We're going to ask God to be free of that as well, from love, and put the best way to be from love, and thanks God for that for us. Okay, go ahead.
Well, did you also want to do Sophia's question too?
Oh yes, I did.
You said you wanted to
I
start
did,
with
but
that.
she's busy. So when she's done with our person here or our client, we will come back to Sophia's. All right?
Yeah.
Is that good?
Yeah.
All right. Okay, so let's shoot. Who's next?
We have Evelyn Oper. She was asking last week. She would like to clear out from her chart emotional explosions. She said the little things blow up and become more than what they are.
Okay. First of all, for Evelyn Oper. Evelyn, hi. Hi, bug. All right. So is this her OG chart? Could you lower the brightness in your phone? Thanks. And is this her OG chart?
I believe so.
Do you have her subconscious chart too?
We can ask Nikki first.
All right, Nikki, could you share her subconscious chart, please? First things first. Evelyn is young. She's a kid, right? So Evelyn, you're a kid and you're young. I think it's great that you want to come on the show and do this work, but also got to remember, right? Part of being a kid, part of living and being a kid is having outbursts and being in those spaces where we get to have those things. We get to act out our emotions. We get to feel our emotions. We get to release our emotions. And that's all part of healthy learning when we are a child. You're gonna, I don't care what child you are, you're gonna have meltdowns. You're gonna have breakdowns because this is how it works as we assess our reality in our souls and understand what's going on here and learn, because when we first come in as human beings, we're babies and we grow, right? So there's a whole way that things work in the formula of God or love, from zero, the age of 0 to 4 years old, 5 years old, to being a young kid, to being a, what do they call it, a toddler, from a baby to a toddler, to a preteen, to an adolescent, to, a teenager, an adult teenager, and all the way up to the age of 27 when you actually become a true adult in the formula of God or love. And it's all in your progress chart, like when you have your moon sign, your progress moon at the age of 27 to 30 is when it comes in. It is your first natal moon return. This happens in your progress chart. So all of this is going to happen for you, Evelyn. It is the progression of all that is God, that is love. And as your soul matures and grows from when you are a baby to where you are now, how old is she now? She's 7, 8? Okay, well, Mickey, let us know. I know she's around, I want to say 7, 8, 9, possibly 10, but I don't feel like she's 10 yet. But I know that she's more in size, taller than the average kid, or bigger than the average kid.
9.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, that's what I'm feeling like in her energy. And again, the reason I would pick up, people would say, oh, well, you're wrong when you say she's 7, 8, 9, 10, and you didn't really know. And that's not what this is about. This is about 7, 8, 9, 10, right? Evie's age at the space that she's in right now jumps back and forth into all of these energies of maturity, understanding emotions, having feelings. And this happens all through our ages, all because we are a certain and particular age in life when we're a kid, especially, okay? Doesn't mean, and this can happen with adults too, all right, doesn't mean we don't jump from being, 8 to 9 in a moment, or 7 to 6, okay? And then there's some people who don't emotionally mature. So if I say I'm picking up on 7, 8, 9, possibly 10, it's right on, because that's where she is in her being a child, learning with God emotionally. She's in actually all of those ages in some way, shape, or form. As her soul develops, as she grows and moves forward, as her soul moves back. I learned something when I was 8, and I want to go back there, and I want to re-experience that. I want to understand it again on a soul subconscious level, because your subconscious soul runs the show. Okay, so especially with children, you know how they say incredible things, and you're like, holy shit, I can't even believe my kid said that. Well, this is where all this stuff comes from. There's a formula of God that is everything, that is all part of the learning process. Just like there's failure to thrive, and then there is people who really live in a healthy energy and they really excel. But then you got to remember, there's stuff that we come in from with the past. There's stuff in our ancestry. There is stuff, meaning energies, okay? There's all kinds of stuff going on in the human psyche, in the human soul, and in layers. And the older the soul, the more stuff you usually have. Do you need me?
This is her subconscious. I was just prepping you.
Okay, thank you. So Jennifer's bringing me Evelyn's subconscious chart. So Evelyn, I'm really proud of you for asking this question. You're doing a great job, and it's very complex, and I hope that you're understanding it, and I'm sure your mom will help you to understand it later, and I can explain it to you better later, okay, as well, if we talk more and you have any questions on it. But this is what you're going through. So the reason I'm telling you this is so that you don't be too hard on yourself, right? Why would I say so that you don't be too hard on yourself? Because we all go through life on the self-love journey. It is the true spiritual path, the self-love journey. If we don't love us, then we are at a deficit. Okay? So it is important for you to know this, because a lot of times when we think we're having a meltdown and our mom says, you're not behaving, or you're being difficult, and do we have to do this again? This actually, what I'm saying here tonight, helps everybody across the board with raising their children and understanding the real psyche, the true psyche of children in alignment with God or love, because this is all part of how things work. Okay? How things work. There's a general rule, and of course, there are always exceptions. Our past life stuff, like I said, our ancestry, the things that we bring in with us, all right, and our everyday stuff, our earth world experiences, our emotions, all of these things play a role. But I'm telling you all of this, Evelyn, because you have to give yourself some slack. In other words, you have to say, okay, sometimes I'm going to have a hard time. Sometimes I'm going to cry. Sometimes I'm going to yell. Sometimes I'm going to get all crazy because I'm a kid. One of the most profound things that my oldest daughter, Madeline, said to me when she was growing up, I was telling her that she needed to do this and she needed to do that, and I don't even remember what I was saying at the time, but she looked right at me, and she was a little kid. I don't think she could have been more than 6, 7, and she looked right at me, and she goes, Mom, she goes, I'm just a kid. And I went, oh! Because I wasn't even in the zone. She's so naturally mature. She's a little kid. And it just went right over my head. And these are the illuminating things children will say to us when we're out of alignment, right? When I was talking to her, and honest to God, I don't remember what I said, but I was trying to give her direction. And she's like, Mom, I'm just a kid, And it's like, whoa. Because it's profound, the stuff that they will say to us. And that's high in God. That is the subconscious soul. It is already developed. It already knows what it's doing. It knows its whole entire journey, and it totally protects our children. So when you wonder how kids go through miracles of great, incredible things, it is because of the subconscious soul. They're able to endure incredible things because the subconscious soul is genius. It is your high-end God connection, and it runs the show. Whether you're 0 years old, 2 years old, 17 years old, 87 years old, your soul is genius, and it knows exactly what it's doing. It's always super connected to God, and it is your true soul, your true self. And this is really important wisdom for everybody, no matter who has kids or doesn't, so you can get a better understanding of how things work with your children. Because then maybe we won't be so quick to jump all over their shit, like let's say I was, or to yell at them, or get upset, or be, toxic with them, or ground them, or get aggravated, right? And when we do those things, ask love to change that. Ask love to be free of that. Ask love for the best way to handle it. As a parent, this is what I do. This is what I have done since, growing onto this road, right? Since my kids were young, since I was young, since I had my kids, because I wanted to be the best mom that I could ever possibly be. Who doesn't want to be that? Truly, in your heart. If you're any kind of healthy, in an alignment with the purest form of love, everybody wants to be the greatest mom, the greatest dad, the greatest parent they could ever be. Truly, right? But in order to be that, you truly got to love you. So that requires work on you too. But also by knowing all of these things, then you can understand, right, that you have the tools to ask God for these things. And that's exactly what I did. Thanks, love, for these gifts for me. Thanks, love, for these gifts for all of us. Because whether your kid's 23 or 21 or 17 or 5 or 2, you have all the tools you need. I always say, okay, love, thanks for speaking through me now, please. Thanks for handling this now, please. Just like we teach on the show. The more you do this, the more you will not make poor choices or the wrong choice based in love. Trust God. Trust your soul. Your genius, your soul, your subconscious soul, is genius, and it knows exactly what it is doing. And this is true of our children too. They're incredible God beings who have come in here just like us to do incredible things, whatever we choose in alignment with love. Okay? And when it's not in alignment with love, our karmic energy hits us hard, right? Or the karmic energy hits us hard. That said, this is real great wisdom for both Nikki, Evelyn's mom, and Evelyn herself, so she can understand a little bit more about being 7, 8, 9, 10, and what that means. It doesn't mean when I say that she's literally that age, nor does it have to. That's only people's beliefs in Earth World. Well, you said my kid is 10 years old, my kid has to be 10 years old. Doesn't work like that. It works in all the ways of the power of God and love, and it's in infinite ways and layers, and for whatever the question that is asked, it's the importance that you need to know that this is how these things work, and that's why The answer comes through my mouth like this from highest knowing of love. All right. Okay. For from the purest knowing of love and all, we're the galactic center, God, love, universe. Okay. This all said, Evelyn, you need to know this so you can cut yourself some slack. So you too, Evelyn, can say, thanks, love, for me being free of yelling, for me being free of screaming, and for me having and feeling my emotions in the best way from love. Thanks, love, for that for me. That's all you got to say, Evelyn. And you'll start to change this. And then we're going to clear out all of this energy in you. And we're going to pull a placement out of your chart. The best, most powerful placement that is causing all of this. Thank you, God, for that for us. For Evelyn as well. Now, please. And Nikki and all of us, because it will be in the family lineage and it will be in all of us. What you are is what you attract. So thank you, God and love, for these gifts now, please, of this best clearing on all of this and with all of this that Nikki and Evelyn are asking for now, please. And all the gifts and tools and understanding that we have acquired now, please, from God and love to share with everybody. Thanks for these gifts now, please, as well. In the purest form of love, all of this, the best release, the best tools, the best gifts from love in the purest form, in this reality, any reality, and all that is, and thank you, God, for that for us. So, Evelyn, all you have to do is say, thanks, God, or thanks, love, for me being free of this, and put the best way to be from love when you're having a moment. And thanks for the best way to cry, the best way to be sad, and the best way to heal it, best way to be free of it, the best way to balance my emotions, the best way to feel my emotions and understand them and have them in the healthiest, best way from love. Thanks, God, for that for all of us, Evelyn, and all of us, right? Because eventually, if we don't do this kind of work and we don't heal our stuff, we become sick either mentally, physically, spiritually, in some way, shape, or form. And depending on what that is, it could be addiction, it could be mental illness, it could be incredible fear, it could be OCD, it could be, PTSD. It could be anything and everything that is out there that they have a name for in Earth World and beyond that, because really it's just patterns and energies in us that do not serve us, that behooves us to clear this stuff out. And thanks, God, for that for us. But if we don't know how to work on this stuff, to release this stuff, then we can't move forward with our greatest life, and this shit doesn't go away. It'll never go away as quick as what we teach here, because it takes time. All the tools you learn here are the fastest, easiest, quickest way to be free of anything that does not serve you. It's the Christ formula. You can't beat it. But in this formula, you have all these other formulas and ways, like astrology, like sound baths, like healing a vibrational alchemy, or doing the energy work that I do here, doing it through astrology, like we're going to pull some patterns out with Evie, going into past lives, past life regression. There's so many ways, right? Emotional healing, what do they call that? Some kind of there's like special emotional stuff that you can do as well, right? So if you need that, your soul, when you ask God, so it's ask and you shall receive. You ask love for what it is that you need, and the answer will come. Well, hey, all of a sudden you'll be driving down the road and you'll see a sign for whatever type of doctor or healing or alternative medicine person or spiritual person that you need, that you're looking to heal, that will be the best person or the best energy to work with you to heal what you have going on in that particular moment. And remember, people come in seasons. Sometimes you work with people all the time and a lot because you totally vibe with them. You've been with them for lifetimes and you're here to get rid of your shit, like on the show. If you keep coming, this is why. But when you outgrow your healer or your person that you're working with, it just means it's time to move on. And when it does, sometimes there's some growing pains there, just like friends and family members. Sometimes we got to let go of some of them, because our time with them is complete, whether they pass or whether that passes on by them passing on literally, or by them having mental illness like Alzheimer's or dementia, or for them being inundated with addiction, and whether they're put in a mental hospital, or we just decide that we can't be around them anymore because they're no longer healthy for us, and it's not the best thing for us from love for us. All right. So we're going to talk about all these kinds of things on the show, but this totally is super important for everybody to have this understanding, and Evelyn as well, because this works for your kids like white on rice, and it's so easy. Thanks, love, for this for me. Thanks, love, for that for me. Thanks, love, for me being free of feeling this way. Thanks, love, for the best way to feel, because you never have to figure it out. You just have to ask. Yeah. Just be cognizant of what you're doing, what's going on, and just ask. When we become super emotional, sometimes it's hard to do that, Evelyn. So give yourself some slack in terms of, learning how to do this, right? Sometimes you're going to have a fit. You're going to be doing that for a while, and ask love to do it in the healthiest, best way. When that would happen with my daughters, Madeline and Sophia, and you know them personally. You've been here at the shopping center, so you know them, right? So they too were babies once. In fact, if I have my great picture, could you reach over here, Rachel, and grab me that picture for me of the girls? Right? Here's them as babies. They're cute as shit. Cute as shit, right? Now they're like, what are they, 19 and 21 now? Sometimes I want them to go back to this size for sure, because I miss them so much, right? But even when they were that age and they were younger, I would go through the same things your mom and you are going through, Evelyn. The same things. Sometimes my daughter would come home. Madeline came home from her dad's at least one time I can remember. And she was very angry and upset about something that he said and did. And I said, well, Madeline, I said, we can change that. We can clear all this out with God or love. We can clear all this out and put the best way to be from love. But Madeline was wilding and screaming and wailing and her crying like sometimes kids do. And that's okay. That is okay. You have to be able to feel that. But then how long is that okay? And how do I, as a parent, want to address that, right? Yeah. So what did I say? Say, okay, God, how do I handle this now, please? From love. Now I can say that out loud or I can say it internally. It doesn't matter. I'm still asking that same love energy. So what do I do? So, okay, love, how do I handle this now, please? And Madeline is wailing, right? And she comes in the house, it's like throwing herself on the ground, crying kind of energy. And I looked at her and I said, Madeline, we can change this now from love. But I understand that you need to have your emotions now and you need to get this out. I said, so here's what you're going to do. I said, go in the back and go in your room. And when you're done feeling your emotions and having your moment, let's come on out here and clear and heal and change this. Because I understand you're feeling this way in your emotions, but you have all the power to change this from love. And that's how we did, right? There was, we always went to God or love, on our journey. Throughout our whole lives. And it doesn't mean that I infinitely knew this and did this right from the start. It's a journey. Just like when I got on this path, really, truly, we've all been on it our whole lives because we've been these people. We have to go through it to get it. That's Aries. That's Mars, Earth world. You gotta live it to get through it, to go through it, to understand it, and to be able to require or sustain the knowledge. That is huge in Earth world if you don't do consciously what we do here, especially. Work with God one-on-one. Work with love all the time as much as possible because that's your best way to navigate Earth world and anything that comes your way, such as my daughter coming in the house wailing, and for 20 minutes she's going on, and then I'm like, okay, Madeline, you got to stop now because this isn't healthy for me, and it's okay that you're doing this, but you need to go in your room and finish this. Come on out, or we can change it now. And if she's not ready, I want to give her the time to feel her emotions, to get ready, to release that stuff, and to be able to come back to me, and without any chastising, without any screaming from me, without even getting upset about it, because my job as a parent is to be, as I chose to be, is to be in alignment with love with God, and I want to do the best job that I can do, and the best way for me to do that is by asking love for the solutions, asking love to speak through me, asking love to handle this. And this is true for all of us, whether you're Evelyn and really, really young, or you're me, or you're 21, or you're 17. The same wisdom applies to anybody and everybody. And this really isn't my personal formula. It's the formula of Christ. It's the formula from the beginning of time that we all have in our souls from love. That's how you're going to handle addiction and jonesing and sickness and being able to say no to things that are toxic for you, as we clear and heal all these energies, and we learn that we can work with love around anything, to change anything, to do anything, and we become more and more confident in that. This is how these changes happen, and before you know it, you'll vibrate so high you'll never want to do a drug again in your life. Ever. People used to come to me and they used to say to me, I used to do lectures all over the country, and I would lecture, and I remember I was in this one lecture in Connecticut. I had a room full of people. I'd probably say between 30 and 50 people, and it was packed, and I just kept having this one girl say over and over, and I've had other people say to me, I get to God by doing drugs, and I get to higher knowing by doing drugs, and I'm like, I've heard that before, and I've heard that many, many times. It doesn't mean you can't experience an altered state of consciousness. lives. But is that really the healthiest way to obtain that? When I can go and do already, go multi-dimensional in all these different spaces and people's souls and in my dreams, and I have incredible gifts, as we all do, of God or love. I don't have to get high to go into those spaces. I don't have to smoke peyote. I don't have to, smoke a joint. I don't have to, do fentanyl or heroin, God forbid. I don't have to do any of those things. I don't have to drink to do any of those things. But this is one of the things that people have brought to me as an argument. Really, that's just another excuse and reason for wanting to get out of the space that you're in here in Earth World, and in some way, shape, or form that makes them think or makes them feel like they're spiritual and that that's okay. And guess what? It's not okay, because you got to get honest with yourself about why you're doing what it is you're doing. And if you're doing those things, you're really self-medicating. You're not really wanting to be here. And those things of altered perceptions and realities come with that shit naturally, doing drugs, right? And you can do that on prescription drugs, as you know. Whether it's oxycodone or, what did I say that one time? I was on what was that steroid? Prednisone. I was on prednisone. I'm driving down the road, and then all of a sudden I have no idea where I am. And I'm a mom, and I'm with my kids, and this happened in the last 2 years. And that was the first time I ever was on prednisone. And I freaked the fuck out. And rightfully so, because drugs do have incredible power to alter the way you see things, the way you do things. And that was scary as living hell for me, especially me. Why? Because I'm multidimensional all the time. I tap into people's souls all the time. This is the work I do. I eat, breathe, live, sleep this since I was a child. This, and for lifetimes. But really, this is all who you guys are. And if somebody just taught us all this kind of God space, then everything changes. That's what we're doing here. That's what we're doing here. And then we don't lie to ourselves. We don't disconnect from ourselves. We don't do that with the truth either. The truth about ourselves. The truth with ourselves. The truth with anything. Really, the God's honest truth. This is why I say the God's honest truth is so important. Because that's the truth of everything and all that is, not necessarily what somebody else believes out here. So people can tell me all they want that they do drugs because they're trying to get in touch with God, and I will always reply with my same answer, and there's a hell of a lot more to it, and sometimes it's definitely infinite. In other words, there's a lot of things going on there, but as a main general reason of the biggest core thing why people do those things, when they say that, is because it's just an excuse that is somewhat more palatable for people to believe as a reason why, because you're getting spiritual, and it's really a God thing, or it's a spiritual thing, or you're searching for answers to higher knowing. Bullshit.
Searching.
I call bullshit, right? What?
I like that, searching for answers for higher know.
And I'm sure all of us have had wisdom from different spaces and doing different things, but that's not really the healthiest, best way to go about it from love. And as you will very well know, when you're not in alignment karmically with love, it comes back to kick your ass. Truth be told. In some way, shape, or form. And usually 10 to 100-fold. And sometimes, depending on the deficit, even more. Okay? All right. So that said, I think I gave Nikki and Evelyn great mad skills, and all of us here, and understanding as well for their question and for having tempers and getting upset, and tools to handle it. Go and have your moment. And Evie, we've talked about this before, drawing, getting your emotions out through art, which is awesome for, what was that little guy, Rhett? What was he? He had a couple different things going on with him. Do you remember?
Autism.
He had autism, but he also had some other stuff.
I don't remember the other.
Okay, so we've worked with different people, and there was this little guy named Rhett that we worked with, a beautiful, beautiful kid, had a bunch of stuff going on, and we worked with him extensively for a little while, and the whole story is a story for a lot of different times, but to say, one of the things that we learned through this journey with God or love was that by doing art, all right, he has a way to get his emotions out, along with a lot of other cool tools, and this is great for children. Art is creation. It helps you get your emotions out. Everything is emotional creation. Everything. Think of passion. You're passionate. You get in a space in the physical to make a baby. You are passionate. You have sex. You create a baby because of the emotion of passion. because you love somebody or you're passionate. Do you see what I'm saying? That's exactly what we're talking about here. So when you color, right? And I hate to say the word sex. To me, I like to say, keep it in alignment with love, because when you make love is when you create your purest, healthiest soul, not when you just have sex. Remember that. That's super important. Okay, totally two different energies there. Okay, so this said, but by working with doing art and painting and drawing and writing out your emotions, or writing, or any form of art that you feel connected to, or your child does, is going to help that child release those emotions, get in a healthy emotional space, and that's really what it's all about. Just like when we get angry, it's because we have our emotions about something that happened, that tweaked us here in our souls, that happened in earth world, or we get sad about something, like when somebody dies. All emotions create out here, and we must not ignore them, because when we do, or we become detached, or we bury them, or we don't allow ourselves to feel them, then we get physically, mentally, or in any way, shape, or form sick or unwell. And this, and including addiction, is what we don't want to have, right? Because a main core of energy and addiction is being detached from your feelings, and not connecting to your feelings, or feeling so much that it's so painful that you can't deal with it. So what do? You self-medicate. Okay? Because that's what happens with addiction. So let us ask God to be free of all this that is toxic that we've talked about tonight, or out of alignment with love in the purest form, in this reality, any reality, and all the energies of us and in our lives, and all we are, be, say, do, and create, and all that it is, and the best way for us, and or something better. And let's put the best way to be from love, with all this in place of this, from love in the purest form, in this reality, any reality, and all that is. Thank you, God, for these gifts for all of us. From love in our souls, and all we are, be, say, do, and create, in the best way for us, and all or something better. And a lot of times you'll hear me say things repetitively. It's to help everybody remember how to do it. It's to help everybody have a recall that works for them, and it's guided always by higher knowing, okay? All right, so that said, I'm going to look in here. I'm going to ask God, I'm going to ask love, what is the most profound energy in Evelyn's chart that is making her rage? And you know what's the craziest thing? She has her north node conjunct her descendant, her south node rather conjunct her descendant in her OG, I think it is, original chart. You gave me the subconscious, right? All right. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you this. She has her descendant in her astrology. This is her astrology. See that upside down, that horseshoe that's in there? And see that thick black line right by there? There's a horseshoe. That's her. It's a upside down horseshoe. That is her south node. Okay? If you look at that, her south node is in Taurus at 3 degrees. That's active God. This is where she has to change the things of the past. That's the number 3. Father, Son, Holy Spirit. Number 3 is active God. 3 strikes, you're out. It's where you have to take action on something. Do you understand? Yeah, 3 strikes, you get kicked out of the game. What is it? Penalty box? Same thing. I think there's 3 minutes in the penalty box. She has this north node or south node at 3 degrees right on her descendant in her OG chart. That's her original chart, okay? Your descendant and the ascendant go hand in hand. Think of descendant as going down, going under, right? The bottom of your ecliptic, in other words, the bottom half, if you thought of it like the world, the bottom half of the ecliptic in there where the line splits in half, that's all your personal houses. The top half is your outer world houses, how you address the world, and the bottom is the top half, and inside is, underneath there is the bottom half, right? And the bottom half is your personal houses. So in Evelyn's south node at 3 degrees, everybody should have seen it, it's in Taurus. It's this guy with the horns on his head over here. He is this big black circle with the horns on his head. I hope you guys can see him there, because that's where Evelyn's south node is at 3 degrees. Okay, so Evelyn's south node is in Taurus. Taurus is the biggest, heaviest things that weigh heavily on our heart. Remember that? We talk about this all the time. Heavy. It is also about rage. Do you guys ever see the bulls in like Spain when they go berserk and they run through the streets and the people think that it's a good idea to run with them? Oh man, the crazy of the world, right? So, but that's Taurus. Okay, that's Taurus. So Evelyn has a south node that is gonna be in her present day reality because it's on the descendant. Think of descendant as the things that bring you down, or the things that are in your subconscious, the things that you have to address. Okay, you have to address in your subconscious, inside of you, internally in you, and of the past, because it's the south node. South node is the past. North node is the future, and she has the south node on the descendant. So and it's in Taurus, and Taurus is that raging, stubborn ass bull. Taurus is the most stubborn sign in the zodiac. So when Evelyn gets in these spaces of rage, it is a little bit rougher for her, a lot rougher for her than, let's say, most kids. Let's say an air sign who can let's say creatively think of something and get out of that space. You know, where a bull, it weighs heavy on her. You know, water signs wash and move easily. Fire signs most of the time don't even feel their fucking raging energy or their energy in the same way, where they hold on to it and they won't let go. Fire signs burn right through it. However, that energy has to go somewhere, and depending on all the placements, like in the Taurus, it'll end up in her health, just like it can and does in you, Nikki, as it does in me, because I have a Capricorn moon. I have 6 placements in Virgo, which is mad earth sign. Okay, so when it's earth sign, more often than not, you have a lot of earth sign in you. Your emotions get buried in you. So she has this rage buried in her, in Taurus, from lifetimes, and it affects her self-worth. And these are the things, and her worth and value of who she is. And these are the things that we're working on in these times, because Uranus in the transit is in Taurus. That's those orange planets out here. You can see how those hit everything and come into play. That's the energy of God right here in the now. So she has that Uranus in Taurus, and she also has Jupiter in there, that are going to blow those energies out of proportion so that she can address them, to heal them, to release this energy, to heal this energy. So everybody says, well, how do we do that? And her ascendant is in 29 degrees Aries. That's crazy. She's going to have to do this work. It's at 29 degrees Aries. And 29 degrees is known as the anaretic degree. Okay, if you look here, you'll see that little 29 and the red horn, that red horn's there, that's Aries sign. There's a little tiny 29 above it. You can see it. She's at 29 degrees. Her descendant's at 29 degrees in Aries. All right. So what we're going to do is we're going to take a look at these things and clear all these things out. Do you have any questions, or does anybody?
Me?
Yeah.
No, I was just thinking what a blessing it is that she's so young and she has Nikki, and Nikki's working with you, and
yeah. Yeah, well, all of
she's
these
getting
guys,
an early start.
Yeah, and all of these guys who are working with us have these tools to bring to their grandchildren, to their children, to change them as human beings so they can live their greatest lives. You know what I mean? Because when I think about when I was a kid and the nightmares I had with my parents, and you know, your parents can only do from the space of God that they are in their own understanding, from passed down from their let's say ancestral energy. You know, they have the ability, but sometimes they're so wounded, they're so broken, they're alcoholics, they're addicted. Hi, thanks for coming in.
Thank you so much.
Did you get our flyer?
I'm about to get one.
Oh, terrific. Good.
Thank you so much.
And thanks, guys, for being patient. Thank you. Have a great night. You're welcome to stay if you want. Do you want to stay, or you got to go?
I have another session
Oh,
after.
go. Thank you.
Thank you so
Take care. Nice seeing you. Thanks. Okay, we'd like that. Okay, so this said, thanks, guys. We're still doing the show in the shop, as you know, and thanks for your patience. We're going to come back here now. You got that, Soph? Thank you. Sophie is helping me out while I'm kicking stuff all over the floor. Clear that out. Thanks, God, for that for me. Thank you, Sophia. Okay, so Evelyn has a lot going on right now. Plus, she has her Chiron in Aries. That's going to yank that up. Nikki, we talked about Chiron in Aries last night or the other day, I think last Friday, and how you have the Chiron in Aries, where it's your way or the highway. Right now, the transit Chiron is in Aries, so a lot of us are going to be, it's my way or the highway, and that's going to cause some confrontation as well and heighten all of this energy that is already in there from past lifetimes and many lifetimes, and for her to bring it forward to release it and heal it. So this said, we're going to take a look at the South Node in Taurus and see, you know, what's there in the energy, and if there's anything else that we want to clear and heal in this. Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to look that up in the astrology. Could one of you guys see if you can pull up anything? I'm going to see if I can pull it up here. All right, Jesus, take the wheel. Let me pull this up, make this quick and easy. Sometimes my phone just doesn't really want to do it here. All right, new tab. So this is what you're going to do if you're doing this work at home in the astrology in your chart. You're going to look up, you're going to Google exactly what I said. You're going to go south, you're going to go natal, south, node in Taurus. And you can Google that. Oh my God, my phone is just annoying. Clear this out, please. Scorpio North Node, South Node, Taurus. Okay, so they're talking about the Scorpio North Node, the South Node in Taurus. What does it mean? Are you ready? Okay, so she has, what did she have? She had the South Node in Taurus, right? What does it mean if your South Node is in Taurus? Instead of focusing on external wealth, it's time to focus on your inner wealth and how you can share it with someone you trust. Your South Node in Taurus indicates that you've spent many lifetimes cultivating beauty, fine-tuning your creative skills, and doing things that bring you pleasure. Okay? That's one of those things, okay? And that's okay. But let's see. South Node in Taurus, how this placement in each house influences you. Okay. Okay. Remember, the South Node connects to your past. All right. In astrology, the South Node represents your past karmic patterns and tendencies, and the quality of behaviors you have. You may rely too heavily due to past experience. When the South Node is in Taurus, it signifies that in previous lifetimes or earlier in this lifetime, you've developed and relied upon certain Taurus traits. These traits, while valuable, can also pose challenges if overused or misapplied. Here is a description of South Node in Taurus. Material attachment. With the South Node in Taurus, you may have a tendency to be strongly attached to material possessions and comfort. You might find security and pleasure in acquiring tangible assets such as money, property, or luxurious items. In past experiences, you may have relied heavily on material stability for a sense of security and well-being. Now, Evelyn, being a child, can tap into this energy and get furious, right? And this is some of it, because you may take something of value in Earth World away from her. Let's say her iPad, a song, a TV show. You can't do this, and then she will become wild with rage. This is part of that energy, so we're going to clear all that, so everybody gets a better understanding of what we're talking about here. And this is called Medium, I think, medium.com. This is one of their excerpts from their astrologer or astrologist, and so you guys can look this stuff up to get the best clearings and healings for you in the moment and start doing this work on your own. Okay? All right, that said, and the reason she would get so upset is because she relied heavily on material stability for a sense of security and well-being. So she's a child. If you take that away, you've taken away some of her stability, her sense of stability and security, which totally makes sense why she would be enraged. But she's got this personal stuff going on in her soul, and as parents, we don't always know that because that's not what they teach us about in Earth World. So this is profound wisdom here, guys. Profound for all of us. When we understand ourselves through astrology and each other by doing what I call God astrology, talking to God or love for all the answers, it is so. And then you can use these tools and you can understand your child, yourself, how to handle things immensely, what you want to clear out, what you want to change, what you want to create with the energies that are in them. Like the healthiest, best way for her to have material security and have material stability. Thanks God for that for Evelyn and all of us. And clear our blocks and clear all of this that they're speaking of from her and all of us in the energy. And give us the best way to be from love and abundance and love in the purest form with all of this and this reality, any reality and all that is. Thank you for these gifts now, please, in our souls and in all we are, be, say, do, and create. And all that it is in the best way for us and all or something better. And thank you, God, for that for us. So, Here it is. Here's the next one. Taurus, the South Node in Taurus, resistance to change. That's what I said. Taurus is the most fucking stubborn sign on the zodiac. So Evelyn, going to be stubborn. And so this is to be expected in the core of her character. And then parents come in and go, I don't know why my kid is so stubborn. I'm like, when was she born? You want me to tell you about this? Because this will tell you so much more than you understand right now currently in the space of the teachings and the wisdom that they have out in society here for you, and even in modern day psychology. Because they don't really understand this till they're in this God space, or they get into this in some way, shape, or form, right? Yeah, and that's for all of us. This is incredible infinite wisdom and the best way to heal us across the board. Some fantastic tools, and to understand us, to understand that we can work with these energies, we can tap into past lives through all of this, and truly understand ourselves. Because a lot more often than not, and a lot of times, we understand that we do these things and we don't know why we do them, certain things in our lives, and we don't understand why we do them, how come, the energy that's all tied up in them, and we can't even put it into words. But by working with astrology, oh my God, now we have a whole entire new way to be able to do that. Do you see? If somebody just teaches us different. But what happens when we teach you this? What happens if you learn everything we got here to teach on the show? Enlightenment, higher knowing of God and love, how to overcome all these fucking earth world demons of darkness that are in us, that are around us, that we got to fucking deal with every day, and it's pretty rough. What happens is when we get in the space of love, we change everything, and we have all the power. And then we change the world. Can't not happen. Okay, so this stuff is profound, incredible wisdom. All right. Okay, here you go. Resistance to change is another one of these things. Taurus is known for its resistance to change and a preference for the familiar and the stable. You may have a history of resisting major life transitions or changes in your routines. This resistance could have led to missed opportunities for growth. Okay, so because Taurus like creature comforts, and they like to be comfortable with the same thing, the same routines, the same habits. Don't want to go here, don't want to go and do this, don't want to do that. I like my life the way it is, and no, I don't want it to change. You're gonna have a lot of this energy in her. Okay, on a natural level. But her being a child too, it's like taking her teddy bear that she's holding on for dear life and ripping it out of her arms and saying, you can't have this anymore because you're too old for that. You have to let her have that. You have to let her understand how to release that teddy bear. Do you see? How do you do that? You ask love. You work with God. You work with love to change and get the solution for everything, if that is something that you need to do. And like my mother would be like, you need to take that away from her now, Lynn. And I'd be like, no, I don't. I said, I will feel in my heart when it is time to take this teddy bear away from her. God will tell me, and I will talk to God about it. And it doesn't have anything to do with Mom, as much as I love you. It doesn't have anything to do with you or what you think should be happening for my daughter. Truth be told, it doesn't. But I don't have to get shitty with it. I ask love to speak through me to my mother. She may not like it, but I will speak the truth, and it will come from love, just like I do on the show with everything we do. Why? Because it's the God formula. It's the best way to do it. All right? That's why they say the truth will set you free. When you live in truth, you can't not have your best life, and you have all the power to do anything, truly. Okay. That said, again, we're going to go back to all of these, and we're going to clear all this out for all of us, where we're stubborn, where we need this for our security, where we can't deal. Here it is. Reliance on routine. Taurus is comfortable with routines and established habits. Your past tendency may include sticking to family routines and resisting disruptions to your daily life. While routines provide stability, they can also limit your adaptability. So we would want a healthy balance of all these things. That's Venus. That's Taurus. Balance, right? So we can ask God for those things for Evie and you. The best time to make the changes and what changes you should make in terms of how to address this South Node energy in your daughter, and for the best way for you to deal with it too, Nikki. Do you see? From love. Okay? Thanks God for that for us and for all of us here. Those gifts, the best way to deal with all of this. Aha, and here it is, stubbornness. Taurus is the most stubborn sign in the zodiac. It is known for your stubbornness and determination, and that can be really great when you're wanting to persevere and do something really great in your life. The Taurus is the guy who's definitely going to get it done. You're not going to move a bowl, and when he decides he's going to move, he can do incredible things because he's big, and he's profound, and he has the power of love to do it. That's Venus. Pretty big power. You may have held firm to your opinions and beliefs in the face of change and opposition. The stubbornness may have occasionally hindered your ability to see different perspectives. You know what's so funny about that is this would actually play a role here, this energy, in what's going on in the world and why people can't see the truth of the darkness taking over, or the truth about the COVID-19 shot, or the truth about Joe Biden is all jacked up and isn't really the president, and the truth about everything that's going on in reference to the whole world, the immigration, the people coming into the country, the rioting and all of this stuff. This Taurus energy, right, has a propensity to hinder people's abilities because they don't want to see different perspectives, because they're stubborn. They don't want to change. That's the bull. I don't want to see this. I don't want to see this. I can't deal with it. It's too hard for me. It's the stuff that weighs heaviest on my heart, like the bull. I'm too afraid. I'm afraid of losing my security, my self-worth, my worth in my house and my home and everything that I have, my bank accounts, my car, my beautiful things. And it's beautiful and great to have beautiful things. But when something like this is what's happening in the world is happening, it behooves us to be ready to be adaptable and make changes and be able to let go and not be so attached to the things that we have. Do you see? Doesn't mean that it has to happen that way at all. Whatever our journey is already decided for us in our souls, and we go with that with free will, and we picked and chose that. So any challenges that we have, just like us, was losing our house and everything in it, a few years ago, and all the stuff that we've been through with being sick. I know that has made incredible changes in who I am, in my character, in my heart, in my soul, in my understanding. And as rough and tough and as a bitch as it has been, right? I would not trade it. I would not trade it. Because the incredible wisdom and learning that I have acquired by going through this process, I can't say literally that I would have chosen it, right? However, on a conscious level, however, I chose it prior from my subconscious soul because it knows exactly what it's doing for my best understanding of love, my best journey in here to change the world, to come in here and do what I need to do, the world for me personally, change me personally, heal me personally, be able to come on the show and teach incredible wisdom. Without what I have been through in Earth World, that's Aries. My dad used to say to me all the time, I can't tell you nothing because I gotta live it. Just like my kids. My kid's doing some crazy shit right now, my 21-year-old, and I'm like, oh my God, it's me. It's me. And now she's not feeling good because she doesn't know when to say when, right? And that's what happens, right? And then we can become hungover, and we can become really, really sick, and we don't know when to quit, and then we hang out with the wrong people. And these are the kinds of things that we do when we're young and we're living and we're learning, right? Like the old world saying, you don't shit where you eat, right? So you don't have your personal relationships with the people that you work with. You do your best to not do that. There's exceptions to everything, of course. However, you know as well as I do, there's a massive percentage, 73 to 89%, 93% of it going south. There are exceptions. But the whole key here is it's all about learning what to do, how to do, when to do, what not to do, and boundaries, and how much, and about yourself, and about your boundaries, and about who you are, and for sure, in this time and day and age, about your astrology, okay? Whether you work with here, because this is a lovely way to do it, but if AI goes down, you want to know how to do it across the board, how to work with books, how to, and you'll know, right? And you'll be able to work with this energy for your greatest life no matter what, whether you have it on a chart, whether you have it on a computer. And it's good to have these tools because this will help you into the future no matter what and to live your greatest life. All right, so all this said, I know we've gone on a whole bunch of stuff here. I think there might be one more thing here because this was really extended, and this is great, not just for Nikki and Evie, but for everybody here for sure. Okay. We're going to move into a couple more. Practicality. Taurus values practicality and a down-to-earth approach to life. You may have focused on practical goals and concrete achievements, which can be advantageous, but may have led to undervaluing less tangible qualities and experiences. Okay. Possessiveness. There may be a tendency to be possessive or overly attached to people or things. In your past experiences, you may have clung to relationships or material possessions, sometimes at the expense of personal growth and freedom. Financial security. Taurus is often associated with financial security and stability. You may have focused on building wealth and accumulating assets as a source of comfort and security. This focus on financial matters may have overshadowed other priorities. That's from the past. So you could be bringing all this energy forward in a not so healthy way, right? That's why we do this work. Patience. Taurus individuals can be patient and persistent in pursuing their goals. Your determination and patience may have served you well in the past, but at times it could have led to an aversion to taking risks or seeking new experiences. Okay. Now, says here, 9th house, let's see. So she has her south node, I believe, is it in the 6th house or is it in the, where was it? Do any of you guys know? Do we say?
Pulling it up right now.
It's in Taurus, I know. It was right by her descendant, so I think it was in her 6th, isn't it? No, it's 3 degrees above it, wasn't it? So it's in her 7th house.
7th.
So it would be 6th and 7th that we would look into. 7th house, South Node in Taurus. You have a past life tendency to seek security and stability through your partnerships and relationships. You may have been drawn to individuals who offer material security or comfort. That's challenging to move beyond because dependence on others for emotional or financial stability and development, a deeper sense of self-worth and independence within your partnerships. So, it's about not relying on others for your emotional stability and your abundance and your self-worth within your partnership. So this is a challenge, okay? And this is very much so what she does, across the board in a childlike, healthier way of this energy for her, right? So she's doing this where her security is all wrapped up, of course, in her parents and in her family, okay, and in the things, okay? So she's going to have some challenges with her relationships, like when you go away, Nikki, and she doesn't want you to leave. That knocks on her self-worth, makes her feel less than. She becomes afraid. She's going to lose you. She's going to lose these things. That knocks on her security. Do you see? Okay. Now, so that was 7th house. So we're going to go back to the 6th house, South Node in Taurus. This is the last one, guys, for Nikki and Evie, and then we're going to do the clearing. With the South Node in the 6th house, you may have been deeply attached to your daily routines and work responsibilities. You seek stability and comfort through your job and daily life. There's a tendency to resist change in your work environment. This lifetime encourages you to move beyond and safely, beyond the safety of your routines and explore service to others in a more meaningful, transformative way, finding growth through humility and empathy. Okay? So, it's about her getting deeper than the material things, okay? That's what she's got to work on in this life and all of those other things. So let's clear all these energies. That is all of this in her Taurus South Node. And of course, there's other things with this, but because we want to get to other people, we've done a lot on this, and this is for everybody across the board. When we do this work here, it is for everybody. It's going to knock everybody dead. In other words, meaning it's going to help everybody across the board. It can't not. And every one of you here now has a better clue how to look up stuff online and start working with these energies to clear stuff out of your soul. The more you heal you, just like we do here, right? The more you raise your vibration, the more you're going to be able to cope in a healthy way. The more you're going to be the healthiest you. The more you're not going to have addictive issues, psychological issues, be afraid, have anxiety, have stress, not be comfortable in you in any way, shape, or form. So you're going to continuously grow from love to wonderful and amazing new you and the spaces of enlightenment that your soul has chosen to go to as we progress in this reality and complete our missions here, our journey here, and our greatest lives. All right, that said, let us, let me see, I have some water here. Let's take all this energy that we've worked on with Nikki and Evie from her whole entire time working with us tonight. Let us connect to it. Let us feel it, heal it, process it, release it, and be free of it now, please, emotionally and in all energy that it is in us and in her and in them and in all of us. Emotionally and in all energy that it is, and let us put the best way to be from love in the purest form in this reality, any reality, and all that is. Thank you, God, for these gifts in our souls and in all we are, be, say, do, and create, and all that it is in the best way for us and all something better. And thank you, God, for that for us. Very simple. Very simple. You could replay the show. The replays will always be on Facebook. They will also be on my YouTube into the future. So, and anytime we do these shows and you can't make it, you can always go back and look through it and learn from it as well. Replay it, as well as ask God to be free and ask God for these prayers for you. I always tell my family, ask for my prayers for you, please, baby. That's what I say all the time. I'm like, ask for them for you. All right, because they will work for you in the healthiest, best way. And people think, well, I don't want to be you. That's not how it works. It brings you all the gifts that you ask for in the best way for you from love. That's how God works. That's how it works. People will fight me sometimes till the end of time because they think that they know how or what's going to happen in a particular way based in their logical earth world ways of thinking, and that's not really the truth, the God's honest truth. So this is all about learning all of these things from the earth world code of ethics of Saturn to everything metaphysical that is God and love and universal law in all these spaces. Okay. What time we have? Where are we at right now? And many blessings, Evie and Nikki. You guys got great tools with this and a great healing as well. And thanks for being on the show. Thanks for sharing, because this helps other people be direct and learn and get straight with, when I say get straight, get an understanding of how to do this kind of work and how everything works in the world. Okay. All right. So any comments, any thoughts, any things going on?
Nikki's just saying thank you. And it's 8:33.
All right. So, do we have other people? You're welcome, Nikki. Do we have other people tonight who are asking anything?
We got Sophia.
Sophia, you ready with your question? All right. Sophia's ready with her question that I told her we would get to this week. Go ahead, Sophia. What's your question?
It's a little bit longer. Is that okay?
That's okay. If we have to go to 9 o'clock, people will go, and if it's not too long, you guys can go. And of course, if you want to stay on, you're more than welcome to. Sophia's got some wisdom she needs help with, or assistance that she needs help with through wisdom or God, and so we're going to work with Sophia. Go ahead, Sophia. What you got?
Okay. So I wrote out this question last week.
Can you talk louder or move forward so everybody can hear you? Are you okay with that? All right, go ahead.
Okay.
I got like 30 cups of juices here. Go ahead.
So I had some stuff that's been coming up, and I wanted to know why this was happening and what I can do to change it. I've always, I feel like, been pretty emotional, but just over the past 2 years, I feel like I've gone in and out of phases of not really feeling as much emotion in certain situations as I used to. And especially over the past 6 months, I've had some really big moments where I've questioned if I'm like a sociopath, if that makes sense.
Okay.
Moments where something really big has happened and something that's supposed to be really upsetting, and I don't feel anything at all, even though everyone around me is really upset. And I do feel things, and I do care about people and things, but I don't feel things with so much intensity anymore. And I have quite a few moments where I definitely should be feeling something or having compassion, and I just can't. And I'm scared that I'm going to be this way for the rest of my life. And I would like to know why this is happening and what might have triggered this in me. If that's
okay. Yep. Sophia's saying she's having some emotional issues across the board where she's not feeling stuff, and she doesn't feel like she's feeling like a normal, healthy human being. Everybody feels different. That's the first thing, and in different ways at different times, okay? And she's worried about being a sociopath, because she's afraid that she doesn't feel enough, and this really just came to fruition complete, like in a prominent way in the last 2.5 years, you're saying?
Yeah, and especially in the last 6 months.
And especially in the last 6 months. But here's what's going on that everybody needs to know, including you, right? We've been sick with toxins. That's going to affect everything about you. That's going to do stuff like this, right? We have another person that we know of who's sick with toxins, and they have really severe mental issues, right? Like mad bipolar, crying, they're always depressed, they're having really big challenges, and even though they can't see it, this disorder, this sickness, this bacteria or mold or fungus or the poisons that accumulated in our bodies, with this being the top of the line, fungus, right? Mold infection has driven your body across what I call the bridge, or it's the straw that broke the camel's back. Okay? Mm-hmm. That doesn't make you bad. That does not make you a sociopath for life. It does not mean that you're going to be like this forever. You have the power to work with God and love to change and do anything and everything in your life. Do you understand that?
Yeah.
Okay. That said, I absolutely know, and you should know, that you've been working on your chart. You basically work here at the shop, right? You work with us. You help us. You're around and in this light all the time. You're always learning and growing. You do all the energy work. You do the ancestral energy work. We do work on the charts. You do the classes. You really have deep dived into this and been in this environment your whole life. That alone brings you the gift of being able to cross over this bridge and not make those things cement in your reality. Because any time you work with God or love, you vibrate higher. And when you consistently do it, you vibrate higher. And the things that would happen that scare the living shit out of us in a lower vibration from past lives, which is where that fear comes from, that we hold in our souls, okay? Anything that happens to us where we feel that tweaking fear, that's the stuff that we're releasing. That's the stuff that we're healing. And that's why you are afraid. Do you understand that? Just like we've gone into past lives and we've talked about schizophrenia, you also have what we call, is it psychosomatic? Is that what we call it? I'm not sure if that's it. Where you emotionally,
I think it is psychosomatic.
I think it is, where you become ill and and your doctor will say, oh, there's nothing wrong with you, but there is. If it is affecting you physically, it absolutely is a real illness, regardless. Illness has in all these different kinds and ways that it manifests emotionally and in physicality, spiritually, and in all ways, right? And it's all patterns and energies, okay? But there are also things that come with those patterns and energies that are created with the stars and the transit and all that is God that will call in this sickness and these things because it is time for your soul to release this energy and heal it. Do you see? Like the South Node in Evelyn's chart. This is the same kind of energy for you. It is time for you to heal this from lifetimes. And you and I both know that you've come in here with a ton of stuff. You're a very, 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 very old soul. I would not be surprised if you were older and more advanced even than, let's say, I am, believe it or not. Okay? I am not surprised because you have such incredible insight and you have had this the whole time, just incredible insight in so many ways, okay? So keep that in mind for you. And all these people have incredible gifts of love, okay? And all these amazing evolution is already in our soul, but our emotional stuff from these past lives and the stuff that we carry around manifest out here as our fears and our anxieties and our OCD and our inability to leave somebody or turn off the stove or not freak out when something happens or not feel, right? Sometimes I get in those spaces where I don't feel stuff either. Okay? And I'm like smacking myself. I'm like, okay, Lynn, why am I not feeling anything for this person or this that's going on? Why is Jennifer feeling this? Why is everybody else feeling this? This is all part of the stuff that our soul runs the show. Our subconscious soul runs the show. If we're not feeling it, it is because we are either having difficulties in there to feel it. It's buried. We're disconnected from those emotions. They're buried in us. Or it is what's best for us from love in the moment that we don't feel it because it's not time for us to address it or heal it, or it's what's best for us across the board because those feelings or that's being pulled on, yanked on our chain is not what is healthiest and best for us. Do you understand that? So none of this is bad. This is all about understanding emotions, how the soul works, how it stores stuff, and where you are in your journey and why this is happening because you have a huge destiny here, as all these people do, as all of us do. Me, you, and there is no one is better than anybody else, right? But it's all about your personal journey and where we can relate and help others. And also each one of us live our greatest lives. So your soul has called in this energy at the same time all of ours has to heal our emotional stuff. Because if we can't release our energies and our emotions that don't serve us, we can't move forward. We can't live our greatest life. We have all kinds of physical issues, right? And not just the ones that we've talked about here. And just like I said, earth signs bury the stuff in them. And whether you realize it or not, you have a lot more earth sign than you know. We're discovering that, right? Yeah. All right. I know people who, and to explain it in Earth World, I had a few clients who have become sick, right? Their knee, they can't move their knee and they can't move their ankle. And I sit down and I talk to them, and everything in their life is falling apart because they have no boundaries. They have no power. They can't stick up for them. Okay. In their emotional spaces, they don't got what it takes to tell the truth about how they really feel. They're so disconnected, they don't even know how they really feel. But now what's happening is in their physical body, they now need knee surgery. They think that they need knee surgery. They can't move their knee. They can't move their ankle. Their ankle's twisted and broken, and we need surgery on this, and we need surgery on that. And I said to them, are you not seeing what's going on here? Your issue is in your legs because you're not moving forward in your life. Everything is falling apart, and so are your legs are not allowing you to walk so you can move forward, because everything metaphysical is physical and vice versa, right? Just like one of the people who just came in here this week, same kind of thing. She was talking to me about a friend of hers and how there's just blood pouring out of her legs in the shower, which I'll have to look into that more, but that's what she's saying. She's really sick and the blood is just pouring out of her legs. And I said, I know this person. I said, this makes total sense. Why? The life force energy would be pouring out of her. That's what your blood is. It's Mars. Okay? It's Mars. It's other planets as well, but it is your life force energy. It is red. It is passion. When you're living for other people, you have no passion for you. You have no fun in your life. You have no life. When you have no life, the life force energy is going to drain out of you. Whether you get shot and bleed out, whether you cut yourself and bleed out, or you get some other kind of health problem that's designed by your energy of God and your chart and your soul, it's gonna come out of you. It can't not, because you're not addressing where you're in a less than self-love place for you. And that is the spiritual journey and the journey across the board for our best health in all ways. So you're doing that work. Trust that. And if you don't want to be, let's see, mentally ill, schizophrenic, right? An addict, or psychosomatic with your symptoms, right, where you can't control them, emotionally unable, unequipped, having seizures, not being able to talk, not being able to see, having your eyes roll back in your head, not being able to listen and hear, not being able to function. All of these things we're going to ask God to be free of, because that's what you do. You ask love to release you from them, okay? And it will be so. And to be free of schizophrenia and free of bipolar and free of any kind of mental illness and free of anything and everything that isn't in the healthiest form of love in you. And it is so. And it will start to happen. And these things cannot happen as long as you are in alignment with love and you are doing your work. Do you understand? And they usually rarely ever manifest in the way that you think. Okay? When they do manifest as a really toxic thing, it's because we're out of alignment. And our soul called this in for our journey. And just like the house, we could say, well, what, like my mother says, how could this ever have happened to you? I can't understand it, Lynn, and I don't know what you did to make this happen. And I'm sitting here, yeah, Mom, it's not quite like that. It's not quite like that, because it's not. It's different, because God is infinite and each one of our journeys is infinite. You work with God, you work with love, and clear out any and all fears in you that believe that any of this could happen that we just talked about, that scares the living shit out of you, because everybody is afraid of these things. Everybody's afraid of, being blind or losing a limb, or not being able to think, or having seizures, or being a sociopath, or being a psychopath. And we know everybody is insecure. Everybody is, right? So let's clear all this energy out, because the reason they're insecure is because somewhere in here, they're hurting in their heart for them. And this whole process here that we're doing is changing all of that, along with all the other energy work and all the other tools that we teach and do from love. Okay? And so the more you ask love to be free of it. You don't have to think about it. You don't have to get crazy with it or wild with it, explaining it or figuring it out like I do with God sometimes and for the show. You don't have to get like that. All you have to do is say, thanks, love, for me being free of all the energy that is all this, all the emotional energy that is making me feel like this, or just this in general. If a piece of it comes up, like you get incredible fear or incredible anxiety, ask love to be free of it and put the best way to be from love in place of it, and it is so. And I always like to add, the best way to be from love in place of this in this, and that love being in this reality, any reality, and all that is. Thanks God for these gifts in our souls, and in all we are, be, say, do, and create, and all that it is. And thank you, God, for that for us and everybody here. Do you see? So you have the power to create what you want to happen and clear everything out. So just like when I used to get OCD, I used to think, oh my God, incessantly. I used to be like, oh my God, I got to check the stove. I would check the stove like 5 fucking times. All right, Lynn, you got to stop this. Clear this out. Let me be free of this, God, from love. And let me be free of being afraid that the stove is going to be on. Let me be free of thinking that I didn't lock the door when I'm already at work. Let me be free of, any kind of toxic behavior that no longer serves me, like hateful thinking, over and over, thinking that I'm a piece of shit, over and over, hating myself, over and over thinking, oh, well, they did that, they did better than me, or they're cooler than me, or they're more beautiful than me. Anytime you compare yourself, you're heading down a road of massive toxic, because there's no such thing as comparison really in the healthiest, best way of love in the human psyche. Do you understand that? Toxic. It's toxic. I can compare things like glass and metal and say, well, this is really hard. This is hard too sometimes, but not as hard. This one is going to break easier than that one. Now that's comparison in a healthy way of energy and things in love energy in earth world, where comparisons with people, I used to do that all the time. I used to see a pretty girl when I was younger and I would feel terrible about myself. I would feel like I was a piece of shit and they were so beautiful, and I'd be like, because I didn't feel good about me. And really, the ugliness that I thought I was isn't even real. And nobody else sees that. It's all in our delusions of unwellness in the energy from lifetimes of, things like being, beaten physically, mentally, spiritually, emotionally, right? The old world saying is sticks and stones may break my bones, but names will never hurt me. Bullshit. Bullshit. Names are some of the most toxic stuff. Like my mother, when I was younger, yelling at me, telling me I'm stupid and I'm dumb and my football shoulders and you can't wear that and you can't wear that skirt and you can't look like that. And holy shit, when you live a lifetime, when you're even in your youth of people telling you how hideous you are, how gross you are, or shitty things about you, at some point it's pretty fucking hard not to believe it. Do you see what I'm saying? And then when you carry that energy from lifetimes in with you, well, that's why it would manifest like this from, let's say, my mom. And I'm not trying to bash my mom. I love my mom. But these are the unwell things that we have gone through. And really, I see them now as super huge blessings. Why? Because those are the very things that brought me to the healing of these places and my God space that I am in, and the abilities and the gifts that I have. And just like losing the house and everything in it and getting sick with mold sickness and all the poisons and all the shit that has gone on, right? Those are some of my greatest blessings, because the wisdom and the gifts and the tools that I have acquired from God are incredible. And they will continue to be this way. And I'm always working with love. And no matter what the challenge, I'm like, okay, God, this is what's going on. And if I'm not liking it, I clear it out. I ask God for the best way to see it. If it hurts me really bad, I ask God to feel it in the healthiest, best way, clear it, heal it, change it. Let me be free of it. Do you see? And all of us have all of these gifts and abilities to be able to do this. Right? And thanks God for that for us. And let's clear all of this out of all of us, okay? All these energies that are all of this from love in the purest form, and all these emotions and all that is all this, let's release it all and give us the best gifts and tools in place of this from love in the purest form in this reality, any reality, and all that is. Thank you, God, for these gifts for Sophia and her soul, and for all of us in our souls and all we are, be, say, do, and create, and all that it is in the best way for us and all, or something better. And thank you, God, for that for us. Okay? So you got this. Anytime you get scared, and everybody here too, anytime they become afraid or unwell, ask love to clear it. Ask love to heal it. Ask love to change it. Thanks God for that for me. And you don't have to figure it out. Like when people get themselves in really ridiculous predicaments, right? Whether you're drinking and driving and you're get pulled over by a cop, instantly, no matter what I'm doing, if I'm pulled over by a cop, I'm praying. I'm like, all right, angels, come in here, handle this now, please, from love. Let it be the best outcome. Love, speak through me. Love, handle this. Let me be free of any tickets, any unwellness. And if I'm doing something unwell, like drinking and driving, then there's a greater propensity for me to get in more trouble. But if I work with the tools of God and love, that is the power to negate that. But I must be authentic. I can't say, oh, I'm going to do this today to get me out of this, and then tomorrow become that same shitty person I once was, or unwell person that I once was, and go back to those ways. I used to do that all the time when I was a kid. I'd be like, please, God, don't let my grandma die, and then I'm going to change this, and I know all of you can relate, and I'm going to change that, and I'm going to change this, and I'm not going to be that guy anymore if you could just let my grandma live. Right? And then would I change? No. No. Yeah, because that's the nature of human nature. All right, it don't work that way. You know, sometimes we got to go through incredible stuff to make those changes. But once we get in the zone with God or love, then we're really rolling, and we can create anything. And then no matter what comes our way, no matter what demon comes to this door, no matter what house we would lose, all of our stuff, whatever sickness we have, whatever our journey is, no matter who attacks us, whatever happens, I'm going to call on that power of God and say, okay, love, what do I do now? How do we handle this now? Let's change this now from love. Give me the best way to be. Clear out why this happened. All the energy of that. How I'm feeling emotionally. Heal it, clear it, change it. Let me feel it. Be free of it. And give me the best way to be and the best tools in place of this. And Jesus, take the wheel and handle this now, please, from love. Love, speak through me. And that will always happen then. Whatever it is, the outcome in the healthiest, best way from love. And when it does not, like the time I lost the court case, I go, what the fuck, God? I'm not understanding it. It's because I thought it needed to be like this, when really it's way beyond that. Do you see what I'm saying? So much learning. I did win, but not in the way that I thought. Right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Got it? All right. So thank you, Sophia, for sharing, because it's incredible wisdom for everybody again on our show.
Thank
and
you.
Yeah, thank you. And thank you for coming. Thank you for sharing. And thank you everybody else here too for coming and sharing. I don't know what time we got here. What do we got, guys?
8:52.
Okay. So we're going to wrap it up tonight. It's 8:52. Do we have stuff for next week?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. All right. I just want to say thanks, guys, for coming. I'm almost going into prayer zone again. Okay. So thanks, guys, for coming. We'll see you next week for our 12th House Recovery Show. And if you can spread the word, please do. If you can donate, please do. Spread the word. Tell people about us and what we do and what we're doing here. This energy work is profound. And even when you don't feel it or get it, if you just come or ask God for these prayers and do it, and you will get it. There's no way this can't work for you. And all the tools that we're teaching here for addiction, for understanding psychology, truly from the purest master of psychology, love, right? And all that is God, love. All right. Thank you so much for coming. Share our stuff. We'll see you next Friday, actually, 7:15 to 8:45. And have a great night. Have a great weekend. And that'll be like the day after Thanksgiving. Have a happy Thanksgiving, everybody, and much love. Okay. All right. Talk to you soon. Bye-bye.